Hey y'all, and happy Saturday. And you can see I have a lot of yummies on my desk here, and that's going to be a bit of what we're going to be doing today. But before we get started on our journaling, let's deal with today's or this week's journal prompt. And it is forbidden shapes. Yes, forbidden shapes. We actually do exit some of those out of our visual vocabulary as well. I know I did. And I was surprised when I realized that. So this is kind of a long prompt, but I'm going to read it slow. Okay. So when I first encountered my forbidden colors, I was so stunned and shocked that I had had such a strong visceral reaction to the colors that I hadn't been using in my art. As a result, I became very introspective regarding all of the elements of art. As a visual artist who used color, texture, shape, line, space, value, and form to tell my stories, my art mythos, it became important for me to discover more by asking myself one very fundamental question. Why have I limited the tools available to me for creating my visual dialogues? Yeah, that's a question to ask ourselves. Why have we limited the tools available to us for creating our visual dialogues? I pursued the answer to this question by going on a similar encounter to the one I had done on Forbidden Colors. I chose shapes next. I challenged myself to create a painting limiting the space used to one shape and to paint in the rhythm of that shape. So for example, when I picked the diamond, I would follow that movement of the diamond shape to create the painting, the collage, whatever you're working in. If you're jelly printing, then you're using all diamond patterns and you just use them as many different ways as you can think, large, small, in portions, however, but just working with that shape. And the diamond happened to be a shape that I don't use a lot, though I do use it partially, but it was one of those shapes that I really wasn't using a lot to its fullest. So that was one that I really wanted to discover. So for example, okay, so where did I stop? Create the painting. Okay, very much the same way that you could also choose a circle, right? And then paint in a circular manner. So everything would sort of have a circular feel to it, or you can exchange the work painting for collage, jelly printing, whatever it is that you do. Just kind of still think in terms of the shape. So let's give a brief explanation of the elements of art, because this is important. Something you probably don't think about all the time, or you may have this instinctive relationship to it, but it's very important for it to be a part of the way you may think about your work. So the visual element of line, shape, tone, color, pattern, texture, and form are the building blocks of composition in art. When you analyze any drawing, painting, sculpture, or design, we examine those component parts to see how they combine to create an overall effect of the artwork. A lot of times we're just doing that instinctively or intuitively. Or when something isn't working in your painting, it's good to go back and look at some of these elements of design to see maybe I don't have enough of one or the other in there. Maybe I have too much of one and not enough of at least. It's always nice to have at least 3 of these elements to bring some kind of balance, and then they can be in various percentages. But so the visual elements have a relationship to one another. Most images begin their life as line drawings, or like you can substitute that for anything, be it collage. It could start with small elements. It could start with an overall color pattern, whatever it is, right? Then lines cross over one another to form shapes. So we begin to form shapes from the idea of the elements of line. And then shapes can be filled in with tone, color, or repeat a created pattern, right? So this is how we're building, using these elements to build. A shape may be rendered with a rough surface or create a texture or a smooth surface, right? And then a shape may be projected into a 3-dimensional form if you do things like sculpture, or if we're doing book arts, if we're working in journals, like junk journals. If you're working with textiles, you're doing sewing or needlework, right? Or if you're doing assemblages, And of course, things like pottery and various things like that, we know that goes right into a more extended dimension. So each of the elements may also be used individually to stress their own particular character in an artwork. And so different elements can express qualities such as movement and rhythm and space and depth and growth and structure, harmony, contrast, noise, and calm, and a wide range of emotions that make up the subjects of great art. So I encourage you to select every shape you can find and create something with its space. As you create, observe the challenges you, observe what challenges you and what comes easily and naturally for you. Try selecting the odd shapes like arrows or amorphic shapes like amoebic shapes, such as Matisse did with cutouts, right? Or the outer borders of mandalas, right? Pay attention to why you don't like creating in one shape and why another seems to make your heart sing. These discoveries will inform you on the way that and the whys of how you create. During this period, I discovered my absolute love of circles and ways I can use a circle that really speak to me. And I have been using this shape in my work now for more than 20 years, and I've yet to tire of it. I learned that it's an integral part of who I am and what inspires my stories. So that's the goal this week, is to take, get as many different shapes as you can: circles, triangles, squares, diamonds, ovals, amorphic shapes, florals, like a cutout, like, just different shapes, and play with them. At one point, a couple years ago, I was working with one of my clients, and we were just really going a deeper dive into her art mythos. She really wanted to flesh out the language of her art, and she did a lot of drawings. She did a lot of portraitures of women, and she just had this really great way of getting the personality and the feel of the woman in her drawings. And so we did this, and I said, okay, do your portraits and, make a face with a diamond, make it with a square, make it with a heart, make it with a oval, a circle. And she had such great fun with it. But what was really amazing is to see how the faces took on the shapes of of each shape, right? So if it's a circle, then the nose, the eyes, the mouth, everything would emulate a circle. And she came up with some really great ladies that way. And she had a lot of fun with it. And she said, goodness gracious, I've never really thought about the fact that I do, in fact, use these basic patterns when I'm making my ladies, but I never thought about making that I was doing that. So all of the features would be a circle or a square or whatever. And then we moved from there, where she then mixed the shapes in the various faces, but purposely chose a nose that was a triangle, and eyes that were oval, and lips that were heart shape, and a face that was square. And she created some incredible new characters that once you looked at them, you never thought about those individual elements any longer, because she really worked them into the shape of a face. So it's a lot of fun. So think about forbidden shapes this week. And it's amazing because you'll find there's certain shapes that you just never seem to use. And you're like, oh my God, I really don't even care for this shape. So play with it. And it'll be easy to do. Because I'm going to show you how we're going to do some intuitive collaging. And so you'll have fun with this concept. I think you'll have a good time. So I'll see you back at the table. And yes, this week's prompt is forbidden shapes. All right, see you soon. Alrighty, so what we're going to do is, I have this tray here that I just put all of my scraps in. And I like this because I've tried a lot of things, but it's just a flat, I got this at the Container Store. It's just a flat tray, but I can fill it up with a lot of all these little bits and pieces. And then when I want to do some, what I call intuitive collage, which it means I'm just collaging just instinctively. I'm not spending a lot of time thinking about it and what have you. I had this whole mess of papers to work from. So what I want to do today is let's play with our shapes and let's work these into collages. Let me see, I did have some, where's the paper that I had for my gluing? I'll just get some more. So what we're going to do is let's start with squares. That's easy enough. So we're going to start off by just, doesn't matter what we pull, but we're going to pull squares. We're going to sort of tear things into squares. So I'm literally just going to take and sort of figure out rough squares, all different sizes. And then once we do that, we're just going to kind of instinctively put them down on the page and just have fun with, you know, we're not trying to figure anything out. We're just going in, we're just doing intuitive collaging. Let's get a piece of this. So I'm just going to get enough squares to get started here. So hope you guys have had a great week. And been enjoying your studio time. And all that good stuff. Let's see. Let's do this. So I want to get, I definitely want to sort of have a nice square. So I'm going to just rip everything into, you know, basically a square. So that I don't have, we really want to work with the idea of the block. And it does make a difference. And even if you may not think that it does, but when you force yourself to stick with a particular shape, it will matter. Okay, let's see. Get some old, let's get some text from this old book. It's always nice to have some text. Okay. So I know I'm going really monochromatic here, but because that's what I work a lot with, those are the colors that I often have in my scraps, of course. But I did have some really colorful, see if I have any kind of pop of color in here. You'd think I'd have, I do use color. Here's a red, here's a little bit of green. It's not like they're very bright, but maybe I'll pull from a different, when I go to do the other page. I'll try to find something a little more exciting, but you know me, I love these colors. I've been more into monotone here recently. Oh, that's not even a, okay. Let's get, okay, let's see. I have these two different folios of things with color. Maybe I can find something in here that gives us a little pop. We've got some over in that corner. Okay, let's work with this, and we'll see what our walkaway is. So I'm going to do this. Main thing is just for us to get some squares going here. Okay. So we're just going to we're going to start with these squares. Let me just sort of figure out where I want to begin. And honestly, you're going to see, I'm not even going to spend a whole lot of time thinking about it. I'm just going to grab pieces and put them down. And when you just really allow yourself to just move quickly without thinking about it, it's amazing. I think how much better the collage is. So these are all my little pieces. Let me just kind of get myself cleared out here. So I can just, let's go ahead and put this at the top. And honestly, just don't spend a whole lot of time sort of vetting every piece. Just grab something and your hand falls on, you're like, okay, let's do that piece. And just kind of figure out where you're going to put it. So this piece, I have a tendency when I'm collaging to put the big pieces down first, and then so maybe I'll put this one sort of like right here. Let's grab a little bit of color. See where we can put this. So quickly see that we're just going to be creating this really neat grid. And honestly, I try to play with this the way you do like Scrabble or something. You know, once you pick up a piece, you can't put it back down. So think about it like that. Once you have a piece in your hand, once you touch it, nope, you got to use it. I do play these kind of games with myself when I'm working, because I tell you, it really does help you to keep things fresh, and it helps to keep your, for you to keep yourself inspired, which is important when you're working. And that way you actually make new discoveries. You make new discoveries about how to work, how to do something. Like in this sort of intuitive collaging, you may come across sort of a new way of collaging that you never even thought about before. And so that's why I just kind of just work fast and don't spend a lot of time thinking about it. Do that. So you can literally, what I would suggest, like what I'm going to do in this over the next 7 pages this week, is I'm literally going to just pick a shape for every one of the pages and just cut things, in different shapes, and just have at it. I like that there. A little pop of color is nice, yeah. And then just, I'm kind of moving my paper around because I hate the paper to stick to the to what I'm gluing, but at the same time, I'm going to use a whole sheet up too, you know. Okay. I guess I have to do it like this. Okay. See how cool it is? You just make this really neat collage. And the thing, like I said, I like to do is I definitely like to put the bigger pieces down first, and then you just kind of build from there, and you kind of can get smaller and smaller in the pieces you select. And you know, you can just keep on going on top of this. Like once I've done this, I can, you know, just cut some more smaller pieces, and you know, we can just keep on layering. Okay. Okay. That right there. It's like, don't spend a lot of time thinking about it. Just want to go for it. And so, you know, you can do this with collaging. If you do like to draw, you do a lot of drawing, then do the exercise that I did with my client, you know, where you just take a shape and maybe you make maybe you draw some flowers, right? So maybe, let me take my sweater off. It's getting a little warm. Maybe you do, let's find some more color. Let's get some more of this. That's nice there. Maybe you'll do a flowers in the different shapes. So, you know, picking each of those shapes that we've discussed, then you would create all different kind of flowers in various shapes. Or, you know, you could do that same thing on your jelly plate. You could just, you know, do jelly prints where there's just all one type of shape using different stencils, you know, masks, you know, whatever you use to kind of create shapes if you draw into the wet paint. But the point is, now see, this is from one of my paper packs. I want to say this is from, I remember, which month is this? I don't know. It may be April. But I have this natural sort of photo of this sort of mosque. And I saw that and I liked it, and I figured I could end up layering that on top. And in the meantime, I'm going to grab another square here, like this. And let's glue this up. Let's see where we're going to put this. Now this is where we kind of can overlay, right? Because we have like these little odd spaces here. That's okay, because we're just going to begin to sort of layer over it. See, I could see this kind of going in here somewhere, maybe. Let's get some more of this. Trying to make sure that I stick with squares and not end up making rectangles. Because rectangles, that's a different shape, and you're going to get a different, you know, line with that. So we're going to put that there. I have so much fun intuitive collaging. It's one of my favorite ways to collage. It's just a technique that I developed some time ago, when it just allowed me not to spend any time thinking about right or wrong, you know, debating too much about what should go here and what should go there and all of that. So I'm going to put a few smaller, because I got this little odd space right there, but I have to stick with squares. So we're going to get a few smaller squares like this and like that. And it really, I don't know, it really freed me up from just making so many decisions. Does this go here? Should that go there? All that second guessing myself. And then just from really forcing myself into the space of collaging like that, it really taught me, this is nice, how to collage. Really, I learned a lot from that process. So let's just get another square here. I want to get this piece right there. I really do enjoy making these printables. You guys know I do the monthly, but I have so many Gelli prints and so much ephemera and what have you that I really enjoy making them and using them in my art. So I'm glad so many of you enjoy using them. Now see, that's a little bit more of a rectangle, so we're going to take a little bit more off. I'm really trying to stay true to the square, the look of the square. So really force yourself to try to stay true to that square shape. Oh, this is what we're going to do. The next one, we're going to do our circles. We're going to have fun with circles. I'm going to show you a really easy way to do circles. So we're really trying to keep everything uniformed. Okay, we like. So now we're going to put this right about there. And then look, we have this focal point. It's really like a really neat collage. Because we just forced ourselves to do one thing. Well, we forced ourselves to do two things. Only work in squares. They can be all different sizes. And Scrabble rules. You touch the square, you put it down somewhere. Like, don't even debate. You touch it, you got to work with it. And just look how beautifully that whole thing has come together. We have this nice, you know, overall collage. And we found something that was a focal point. And it really, it makes a very interesting pattern. So now what we're going to do is, I promise you, I'm going to pull out something bright for those of you who like the bright colors. And I like bright colors too. I don't work with them. I work with them probably 40% of the time. And most of the time I'm working with more monochromatic colors. But that's a Gelli print. I have some other papers, so I'm going to pull these papers out and we're going to work in circles. Okay? Okay, so I'm back. I stopped the video so that I wouldn't have to, you guys wouldn't have to watch me dig to find what I was looking for. So this is from the December's pack, but it has a lot of beautiful marbled papers in them, and I do a lot of them where, let me see, where you have the full sheets, but then there's also, so this one has text in it, but there's also these sheets where I do different ones on a sheet, so you get a lot of different patterns. Those are the ones that I Gelli printed, but let's work with, some of them I did double-sided because I was working on a book in December. We made that sort of Advent style book. So let's see, I'm going to use I'm gonna use the ones that I didn't. Okay, here's a sheet. See where it's all on there. You can use this one. And then, let me see, where are some of our, trying to find some that were text without, oh, this is a good one, see? Where it's a lot of different ones. So you can use these to make tuck cards, tags, a lot of different things. But you can use them in this type of collaging as well, where you know, you have a lot of elements at the ready. Try to glue this down. Oh my goodness, let's use the clip so that holds that down while it's drying. Now we're going to use hole punch. Now you can use all different size hole punch. I only happen to have these two sizes, but whatever size hole punch is, these are the best because you don't have to worry about cutting a lot of circles and getting them, you know, trying to get just the correct circle shape, and because you really want it to have a circle look and not an amorphous look, you know, which can happen if you don't cut circles. You know, if you don't cut them just so, you know what I mean. So I'm just going around. I'm grabbing some text. I know I'm going to want to put text on here. Okay. And let's do that with and then it's nice to just do these right next to the square, right? Because we get to see what just how using these different shapes really make a difference in terms of the way the collage is going to look. So easy, right? Okay. Especially since we're challenging ourselves. There's no need to make it difficult. I love this book paper. It comes out of, I have a lot of old books that I've collected over the years. Especially with my travels in Europe, you get these really beautiful pages, and they are end papers from books. Okay, so this is what it's going to make it fun too. I may come back and use this for smaller ones once we get the larger ones down. So I'm really going to have them. I'm not even going to look at them. I'm just going to leave them turned over like that. I think what I am going to do is I'm going to use my Oohoo glue stick for this. These are smaller. I don't really need super strong glue. Just use this. And so we're just going to put them down. Now what's going to be interesting is my challenge is going to be to cover this whole page with circles. We got to keep that in mind. Already we see a difference, right? So we kind of have to have things off the page. Kind of. I'm literally not even going to spend a whole lot of time. Just put them down. Just put them down. Just kind of want to move around the page. Of course, this is fun to do too, like when you're hanging out with the family, you know, looking at a movie or something like that. Because this is truly, and this intuitive collage is truly mindless. And the more you can be out of your mind with it, the better. Honestly, the better. Because, you know, you have all kind of surprises when you do that. I can't tell you, I haven't worked with circles like this in a while. This is like a nice challenge for me too, honestly. Because most times you're not thinking in terms of using a circle to do an entire page, right? But I know when we're done, it's going to be amazing. I already know that. I can already feel that it's going to be cool. Main thing is to really work on just making sure you overlap them. And like even right there, we could put a small circle or something like that. So we have this little small circle punch just for that reason. So we can have some options for some of the sizes that we need to fill in the holes. And you know what? I'm doing it this way where I'm just purposely making sure that I'm overlapping all my circles when I go down. But I think you could also just, you know, just put these down random on the page. Like literally, I think you could just put them, you know, probably, and you do a lot of overlapping, but, you know, it'll have a different effect. Oh, this is fun. I love playing. That's why I love art journaling, because it really just gives you this incredible permission to just play. Something. And once we kind of came into our adult years, we didn't do so much. You know, so it's like kind of getting back to that space of just giving permission to really just play. Oh, I broke my rule, didn't I? It's just I was thumbing through them because I realized I don't really have any red. So let me grab some red. Because I have red in these papers. So here's a red. Let's grab some red. I feel like I could use some red. Okay. And I also have this bright green because my goal is to make this a little brighter, right? So let's grab some of this green. Okay. Alrighty. Oh, this is looking good. It's like when it starts coming together, you're like, yeah, I like this. And this is kind of like mimicked in nature, right? The whole idea of like scales on a fish, right? Or seeds on a pod, like a pine cone or something. You know how it's that, you have that idea of circles or oval-like shapes, you know, repeating themselves. So when you really think in terms of these types of of playing like this, it's amazing how many of these shapes actually come at you from nature as well. You don't really think about it. But, is that one piece? I thought it was two. And then you'll start seeing other things that we have an eye for all the time. You really don't think in terms of put that there, because then I can put a small circle down there. Okay, let's put this, work on this edge here. This is definitely one of those videos you guys can do along with me, right? You could pause the video and go get your things and we can work together. And as I step back and look at it, it's amazing how, even though I use brighter colors here, these are, you can already see where these pages are starting to work together. It's a certain harmony. For as many circles as I did, hopefully I have enough. Well, it's no big deal, right? I just can easily cut some more because it cuts so quickly, and I have a whole pack of stuff here, so. Put that there. This is a pretty one. The colors are pretty in that. Okay, put this down here. Big piece of glue there. Come off the top of my glue stick. Let's put this right there. Wow, working like this is giving me a lot of ideas for patterns and stuff to use. And some of my other work. Like you could actually make a master board. Like how cool would this be to make a master board out of these circles, but use it like maybe using have it, you know, print out on some thin paper like onion skin or tracing paper, or on that Japanese calligraphy paper I like, so that it's a thin, almost it'd be nice on some papers it's sort of see-through, and then make a whole large sheet of this and then have it to cut down into gridded shapes that you can use in a collage or something like that. So, you know, once you do this and then to actually go and cut it in a square, you know, that would be really cool. Okay. Right there. Just need a few more cut, and then we'll cut a few small ones. I think this is pretty good. That way. I want that little blue line to lay over that. And let's see. Music paper, a little more. Okay, I'm going to use up every last one of these first. Just make myself finish. And then come back and see. Actually, I probably will only maybe need one or so more. Wait a minute. Going this way. So I get a little more of that orange color and stuff. I only need a couple more of these large ones. really basically one more, because this one will go there. And then we can cut some small ones, and we can see, you know, what we have here. So let's see. This blue. I love this. Or maybe I should do, let's just do this. This is a nice little splash of color. So let's get this one down, and then we'll cut some small ones and see where we're going to put them. Okay. This there. Okay, so we have like 1, 2, we could put some 3, 4, 5. Okay, so let's grab some of the smaller circles here. These I'm going to make sure that I kind of get sort of one of every color, because I'm digging here and trying to keep this stuff from avalanching. It almost went. Just trying to grab some of these brighter bits. I forgot how many I said I needed. I like these multicolor ones. So let's grab a bit of text. Come on. Music note can't hurt. Grab something from down here. I'm gonna decide about this side. It's gotta give myself some time to think, because right here I'm gonna put them, but we're still, you know, I'm not gonna worry about it because it's still just gonna be a little bit of white. If this were like, if we didn't have this corner piece there, let me get another bit of this. If we didn't have our fold there, then I would just do them all the way up to the edge like we did here, and then cut them. But I was trying to get something, yeah, a little bit more color. You could do these with squares, you know. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is, I feel like I need to put a bigger one there, because I can see that it's going to be, that space is a little bit too big for just a small, the circle this size it came out. So we'll just go ahead and grab another one of these. And how are we looking for time? Pretty good. Just put that down there. Okay, so let's grab oh, I like that. Yeah, these little circles, I mean, you could just stick to that one shape, but like, it's really, see how it starts bringing some, I don't know if you can tell, but putting these little pieces down to overlap really bring some distinction to the design. Like already, just changing that shape, just that quickly, really added a little bit more to this. That there. And oops, I broke my my Scrabble rule. Sorry about that. So I was looking at what the color needed to be coming down, and then I forgot which one I touched. So I'll just go back. I think it was this musical notes. So grab it. Let's put that up here. Wow, this is a lot of fun. I am really enjoying myself here. I keep on wanting to break my rule, but we don't do that. We make a rule, we keep it. Especially for what we're doing here, you know? Like any other time we could break it because we can. But since we're trying to learn something from ourselves here, you know, we want to kind of stick with our own restrictions. Let's see. I'm gonna put some in the middle. I'm actually gonna put a couple where they don't have to be, just to kind of balance out the collage, because we get to do that now that we filled up the space. You know, it's like how we added this over something that was already there. We just kind of want to start working with the design now, so we're just gonna allow ourselves to okay. And actually could use something right here. Do I have any more? Okay, let me find, like this blue might be nice. Let's put that there. Now the only thing that I really want to hold off on not doing is I don't really want to put a circle. How can I do this so that I can cover this space up and put a circle, but not exactly put a circle on a circle, you know what I mean? Like, in other words, I don't really want to put these right next. Oh, I know what I can do. I can sort of bring it off the page that way, so it doesn't look like, that's what we'll do. So it doesn't really look like the circles are right lined up, you know, next to each other. We just kind of reversed how we're putting it on here. Sort of like that. Okay. So let's take a look. They say, what have we learned from this? Wow. So I'm going to end up, let's go ahead and cut these off. Just clean our edges up. And actually these pieces right here that we're cutting off, you could actually lay them back in. So in other words, these areas that I was kind of struggling with, we could do them like, oh, we could actually do them like that. That's a good idea. See, it brings, no, that's an idea. Why did I think about that before? Because I guess you have to see it sometime, right? So let's try it. So these little pieces that we're cutting off can actually go back on this spine edge, like just intermittently, because we don't want to line them back up again either. That's going to be, that would be a problem. Okay. So yeah, so those pieces that you have hanging over, maybe cut them off before you start working with the smaller circles, maybe, so that you can overlap them. Okay. So let's go ahead and finish cutting these off. So you guys get the idea. I think this is fun. So, you know, I'm gonna pick 5 more shapes. And I'm going to work them on these pages the rest of this week. And we can still apply our same rule to these. You don't have to finish them in a, oh, look at that. I got that whole piece there. I wonder if I could actually lay. Let's just see. That's kind of cool. What if I could just lay this in? Like, see, that whole piece came off like that. I could just lay it in, actually. But I'm not going to worry about it right now because it's mostly filled in. And these little extra pieces I'm going to keep because I will most probably, see how I'm still working. I always say I'm going to stop, and then I don't. Like this orange piece would work well right in here. So you could always come back, you know, and you might think differently about the circles after, you know, you haven't worked on it for a while. Whatever. But these are easy just to kind of challenge ourselves through. So I'll put it up a little higher so you can see. But how cool is this? Oh my God, I love it. You guys know, it doesn't take a lot to make me happy. But look how cool that is. We just cut out circles. You know, a lot of paper. You have a lot of scrap paper around. Any printables that you have, you know, that you've printed out. And then we have our squares. Oh, I love it. So I love these 2 pages. So that's, you know, I've learned a lot. Honestly, I work a lot with squares, but I've learned a lot. And I love circles because, you know, I make a lot of circles with my intuitive scripting and stuff. But I can't tell you the last time I've collaged with the purpose of collaging in circles. And I really like this. Like, I really like this pattern. And I could see it being used in some of my other art collages, things like that. I mean, you know, what a wonderful background. Or they can be cut into sections and used even in journals. You could do these and then cut them into sections and make pockets out of them and just have this really neat, it's like almost like patchwork or collage work or something. I mean, like quilting. So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed this week's video and keep on commenting. I always love the comments. Normally I will respond or put a heart or something. Don't forget, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe and hit that bell so you'll get notifications. If you enjoyed this video, please thumb it up. And let's keep on working and enjoying ourselves. And we will be back next week for another prompt as we continue to move through this incredible journal with all of the yumminess that has been inspiring us. So, love you guys, and and I will see you again soon. Alrighty, bye-bye.